Welcome to the Savage Goose Show, where we talk about all things Savage Worlds. Today in the Savage Goose Show, we're going to talk about where I'm going to rank each of my own Savage World setting books that I physically own. We're going to talk about the ones I'm most excited to play and the ones I'm not excited, but why and what's so special about each one of them. If you have a setting that you're really excited to play, I want to hear about it down in the comments. So write a comment down below to say whatever that setting is, whatever setting that you're really excited to play that you've heard about. And as we're ranking them, I want you to tell me about what you think of these settings and your thoughts on them and which games you've really enjoyed if you have played them and which ones you are excited to play, even if it's not necessarily the most exciting one. But I want to hear from you. Leave a comment down below. Let's talk about this. Let's go through this list together. But first, let's go ahead and go through a few other things. One, I do want to go ahead and point out that there is now a new Savage Goose Patreon and a Discord server. If you join the Discord server now, which is within the first 30 days of it launching, which has been a couple weeks at this point, you will get a founder's role inside of the community that's saying, hey, that you were here from the beginning. So if you want to get that role and kind of jump down the link below, join the Discord server, and join the conversations about all the things that we're learning together over there on the server, and talk about Savage Worlds. I am really excited to see how many people have already signed up and has joined and have gotten conversations going. I really appreciate it. Hopefully we get some more conversations going, and I'm going to try to do my best to try to be on there as much as possible, within my busy life, and talk to you all. Additionally, if you really like this stuff and you really enjoy me putting out all the content I do and you want to help support the channel, you can go over to the Patreon. I am also just looking forward to getting some sort of feedback on the Patreon. So if you haven't, look through it and you're like, hey, not really what I want, but if you have some feedback for it, I'd really appreciate it. So we can make sure that I can offer what I can for you all through that. And if you want to support the channel through that, I do really appreciate it. All right. First off, as always with these things, we're going to go ahead and head up over to the newsletter and see what news we have from Pinnacle this week. This is the weekly Pinnacle newsletter. If you want to join the newsletter and get this email yourself, you can download the link down below and get this newsletter from them yourself. So first off, Gen Con. Gen Con was this past weekend, the best 3 days in gaming. This was the 2026 version, which means it has been the 30 years since 1996. And which is when the Deadlands was first released at Gen Con, first seen by people at Gen Con. And now this is now 2026, and we have a lot more stuff going on. We got some. I haven't seen a whole lot of news except for some D&D news, which included some Star Wars news. But sorry, best 4 days of gaming. Why do I think it's 3 days? Missed a day. There's a lot of stuff going on for Savage Worlds, and it was kind of good to see in this newsletter a few more updates than we usually get about the things that happened at the panel that Pinnacle does every year. But first, I do want to say, hey, look, there was 80 Savage Worlds events at this convention, and all of them were sold out, which is awesome to hear. I'm glad to see. Hopefully, we got some new players in there. We got some good veteran players in there to show them the ropes, show how much fun this game is, and hopefully bring more people into this hobby. So if you are, for some reason, here and you played in one of those games the first time, welcome. Hope you can learn more about Savage Worlds. There's also a Pinnacle panel featuring people like Shane Hensley, who has not been there for quite some time, from my understanding, Simon Lucas, Dale Hayhurst, and Clint Black, and Scott Woodard, discussing some projects like the upcoming Kickstarter for Deadlands, but as well as a few other things like the upcoming Kingmaker Kickstarter for Pathfinder Savage Worlds, the Final Reckoning, which is for Deadlands Lost Colony, and some Rifts, the newest Rift source book for Australia, China, Japan, that area, as well as a slipcase collection of 4 classic Reckoner campaigns, The Flood, The Last Sons, Stone and Heart Plays, and Good Intentions. Hopefully all of them are updated for Suede. And then there is another adventure for Deadlands Dark Ages, tentatively titled Dagon, that's coming out soon. Or coming out after all these things. So lots of Kickstarters coming out. We're going to hear about all the projects they're working on, and so it's kind of exciting to see. Having said, I will say I kind of, as much as I can't say this, I as much as I understand that Deadlands is their one of the biggest IPs that they have, as well as Rifts, I'd really be really more excited to see some more settings from them. We have a lot of good settings they did in the past, and I'd love to see some more settings from them, such as an updated Rippers, for example. That'd be really fun. An updated Lost Colony, maybe, or not Lost Colony, updated Last Parsec. There we go. So I like to see some more, or just like new things too. let's see here. The 30th anniversary celebration in Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona, or near Phoenix, Arizona, is coming up soon. And by soon, I believe I mean October. So if you are interested in that, there's only 20-ish tickets left. So you do want to get that. And event signups for that event are going to be open Thursday, August 6th at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to get in on this, you want to get on early. Pine Box Entertainment is also going to be running a Doomtown tournament and demos of their upcoming cooperative and expandable card game Deadlands: The Legends of the Weird West. So that's exciting to hear. I think this is the first time I heard about a cooperative Deadlands card game. It sounds like it might be kind of like this. I think that I heard about this like Marvel Champions game that's a TCG, but it's co-op. That sounds really cool. I would love to hear more about that. So tell me more, please, Pinnacle. I want to hear more about this game. And Studio 2 Publishing was also at Gen Con, and there was a lot. Oh, sorry, we're also at hand. So Pine Box. Sorry, this news here and this news here, I combined together. Pine Box did do Doomtown stuff. And there will, so that's good. Doomtown seems really cool. I wish I could get into it, but I just don't have the time, energy, or people to play with, if I'm honest. So I do think I did own a box copy of the AEG version, and I thought it looks really cool. Yeah, so Studio 2 Publishing was there. They had a whole bunch of Savage Worlds stuff, not just stuff from Pinnacle, but they also had some stuff from the Ace licensees. I think Tracy Sizemore's game was there. I know Tablecut Games had their Street Wolves setting there. So Han Cluster and Tablecut Games, or Han Cluster and Street Wolves, were both in the Studio 2 Publishing area, which is really cool to see. It's really cool to see just like other Ace licensees getting their products out onto these shelves and getting like offset print runs done, so they can be and get them in the hands of people like Studio 2, so they can get content that way. Kickstarter for Deadlands Mysterious Maze launches next Tuesday. If you really want to get on that steamboat and ride the waves, or not ride the waves, but enter the maze, you're going to want to pick this up, and that starts next week. Again, there are still some tickets left for the 30th anniversary celebration, so go ahead and check that out. And if you are interested, I am very much interested, but I just don't have time or money right at this point. So since I'm all the way in Pennsylvania versus Phoenix, which would leave me a little rough. Now in Foundry, Rifts for Savage Worlds Europa virtual box set. If you do a lot of Foundry and you do a lot of Rifts, this box set is now available. You can pick that up and run your Europa games as you would like inside of Foundry, which I hear a lot of good things about. So it's usually between, like, when it comes to Savage Worlds, usually between Foundry and Fantasy Grounds where you want to go. I know a lot of people really like Foundry because it does not rely on a private server, although I think you can set up as a private, or it doesn't require a public, not a centralized server. You can run it through your own computer. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Next Monday, so not this Monday, but August 10th, Brandon Verhalen from Storyville Studios is going to be talking about Star Marshals and all the other Savage Worlds stuff that he's doing. That is going to be on the Twitch channel for Pinnacle, also usually on the YouTube channel for them as well. We had Brandon on last week to talk about Star Marshals, and so look forward to, if you have any questions you didn't get answered there, either about Star Marshals, or if you have other questions about other products like Phase World or Starbreaker Saints and Sinners or Starbreaker Star Marine and that kind of stuff, you can go check that out. Also, one game that we are going to talk about later. I'll be at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time with JM. So take a look at that. All right, where are we at with crowdfunding stuff? Doomguard, Pledge Manager is open. Deadlands Arcade, Pledge Manager open. So many Pledge Managers are open. I just want my books. I'm super excited to get most of these books. I'm super excited to get all these books that I'm getting. I'm getting this one, and this one, and this one. Kind of wish I would have gotten this one, but I just don't have the money at the time to grab this. But I will probably grab it eventually. All right. So that is the newsletter. Let's go ahead and jump back over to our slideshow here. New products. There is 2 new products I want to highlight. First one was this really fun one from Doghouse Rules. It's a little setting for Jimothy. It's a little Jimothy stats, free stats for Doghouse Rules. It's literally just a 1-page doc with stats for a raccoon that roams the streets of Seattle. So if you want to grab that, go do it. Go grab it. Still a fun little free thing. But on a little bit slightly more serious note, also we have Starbreaker Star Marshals. This is finally out. This came out last week. We had Brandon on to talk about it, and that's out. It's just you can see here, it's a 31-page supplement on how you can run Star Marshals inside the Starbreaker setting. You still need the Starbreaker Saints and Sinners core rulebook, as well as the Savage Worlds core rulebook to run this, but just a small PDF that you can grab to play as a star, a space faring bounty hunter, not bounty hunter, sheriff, a marshal, a U.S. marshal, something like that. All right, next thing up, Kickstarters. One, Starbreaker Zero. So this is I wanted to kind of highlight this because this is someone who makes lots of Savage Worlds content. Starbreaker is being adapted for the Year Zero engine. I'm seeing quite a few people like dabbling with trying out the Year Zero engine. I need to try it out myself and try see what I think of it. I tried reading through the SRD and I just didn't fully grasp it because I find that I just need to play a game to fully grasp it. But if you're interested in getting Starbreaker under the Year Zero engine, you can check that out. And there should be check out I think it's on BaggerKit, so check that out there. But also coming next week on August 11th is Deadlands: The Mysterious Maze. So if you want to enter to a new part of Deadlands, a new region, and get the new campaign books, the one is the one on the Steamboat. The other one is one where you're fighting Dracula as part of the Twilight Legion. So check out both of those. Links are probably not in the download down below right now, but I should get those to you at some point. This month's SAG licensee, we're finally returning to doing this. I wanted to start doing this again because I feel like I'm going to be more consistent. I just had a vacation last week, and I'm going to try to be more consistent with doing these. And so I wanted to start highlighting the Ace and SWAG licensee spotlights again. And this week, partially because I just got a hold of these recently, and I really want to talk about them because they're really cool, is Crystal Heart. So Crystal Heart, if you don't know, it started out as a part of a webcomic called Up to 4 Players. And Up to 4 Players is a webcomic about board game players. They just playing board games. I really enjoyed watching it or reading through it. It was a lot of fun. And they did a section where they did a whole thing. Actually, what they're most famous for probably is this one-page comic where it's one page front and back that you can print off, and it explains how to play Savage Worlds. One page that gives you the basic understanding of how to play Savage Worlds right there. So really cool thing that they're probably one of the things they're most well known for, because it's one of the best supplements to just hand someone and say, hey, if you want to know how to play Savage Worlds, just read this one page front and back comic and you will understand the basic idea of how to play Savage Worlds. They, at the end of last year, released this comic book. There is a link for this down below. This is Crystal Heart, the comic. This is being printed by Dark Horse Comics. If you don't know them, that is a really big name in comic book publishing. It took me a few days to finish. It is really fun because it goes between the players and the characters inside their game of Crystal Heart. And kind of it shows the roles. It shows the GM asking for roles. It talks about edges. It kind of shows kind of how the GM and the players work together to tell a story, and how there can be collaboration, but also how the GM is thinking. It's just a lot of I think insight into what it feels like and what it looks like for a GM to be working on a game, or to reveal things, or for players to not know everything, or players not to know everything about the world. And there's a lot of little pieces in here that's just kind of fun. And there is some pages that have like some little small pieces of advice, like, hey, like in this world, for example, I might have to make sure I don't keep this too long, but in this world, people have stone hearts, and it's like, well, how does that work? It just, no one knows, and that's fine. No one needs to know. Just know that it does work. People's stone hearts, they work, and they circulate blood. But that's the comic. So this is the comic that explains that, and this is the. All right, I think that's hello. Check. Okay, cool. Sorry, I think I lost my mic for a second. So this is the setting book for it, and you can play some Crystal Heart, where you play as these agents of sin. And we'll talk more about it in future weeks, but I want to make sure people all know about this and take a look at this later. I will say up front, I don't recommend, based on my reading so far, I don't recommend, if you're a player, reading Crystal Heart, the comic, before playing. If you are a game master, then I would recommend it because I think it gives you a lot of ideas and insights and stuff. There's also a lot of other supplements for it as well. So this month's Ace licensee spotlight is Crystal Heart. Take a look at that in the links down below if you're interested. Set those aside. I'm going to turn on some lights here because I forgot to turn them on earlier. There we go. Make sure we get plenty of light in here so we can see the gorgeous books that we are going to be talking about today. There. Need the accent light. So we're going to be talking about ranking my Savage Worlds books. Which ones am I most excited to play? So where I want to start with is, hey, if you have a setting that you are really looking forward to playing, I want to hear about it in the comments down below. Please put it down there. See, Venkel, you already had to put one up here. He says, Robotech setting. That is the one I'm looking forward to. Yeah, Robotech is a Kickstarter that's been taking forever for us to get our product, get into our hands. They're really working on a different Robotech RPG that's not Savage Worlds, but there is a Savage Worlds Omnibus that's supposed to be coming, and I know that's what I backed. I'm guessing, Michael, that's what you backed. So waiting for getting that so we can play that at some point. But yeah, so we're going to go through all of my physical Savage World setting books. So not the ones I have PDFs of only. These are the ones I've gone out of my way or purposely made sure to get the physical versions of. Some of them I've already played. Most of them I have not. And talking about which ones I am most excited to play. And we're going to kind of rank those as we go through them and talk about them and see which ones I'm most excited for, and just kind of talk through them and what they're about. So if you're not familiar with them, you can hear about them. Maybe you're being more excited about them than I am, or maybe not. Yeah, we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and share this tab. We're going to go through. We're going to put these in a spreadsheet. I'm going to talk about them. I'll make sure it's nice and big so you can see them. But we're just going to go ahead and put, since we talked about it, Crystal Heart right here at the top because it's the first game we've already talked about. I am really excited about it, so I imagine it's going to stay closer towards the top because I am quite excited about Crystal Heart and just the fun setting that's going on there. I will talk about this briefly since for this particular section. In this setting, you have a stone heart, but you play as an agent of sin who can have their heart removed and replaced with these like crystal hearts. So is there any crystal heart here to really show you? Not really, but you can see like you have these like harnesses that have these crystal hearts, and these crystal hearts give you powers. They also give you hindrances. So as you put one in, your personality is going to change a little bit because of how it affects you, but you're also going to get powers that you can access through the heart that you can't get between different, each heart's going to have its own like theme that it does, and you are part of this agency that's going around collecting these hearts because this is abnormal. This is a fairly new organization. It's about 30 years old. You are a recent agent, and it kind of goes through a lot of really good like, why are you an agent? Why are you doing this? Why did you join this organization? So I think it's a really cool setting. I'm looking forward to running it at some point and stuffing it higher up on my list, but we'll see where it is in the end. All right, I'm gonna start over here. Well, I'm trying to see where do I want to start. All right, let's just go ahead and start right here. So this is this one here. This is a special cover for Starbreaker Saints and Sinners. So I do see some people in chat mentioning Starbreaker. Kinder Mage says that he is running Starbreaker right now and loves it. So this is Starbreaker Saints and Sinners. This is the core book you need to play either Star Marines or Star Marshals. I don't know why right now, but every once in a while I'm very interested in sci-fi, but right now for some reason I'm just not super interested. So to talk about this real quick, why is it called Saints and Sinners? Sinners is a syndicate, and Saints is an organization that's trying to stop the syndicate. In this game, you usually play, I believe, my understanding from what I remember, is you play as a member of the syndicate who is being kind of who've been captured, taken prisoner, and you're kind of forced to play to do missions for the Saints organization, and yeah, so you're playing as undercover agents dedicated to taking down criminal syndicates, and stuff like that. So you're basically, it's kind of like a I can't remember that organization inside of the DC comic universe where you play as people who are, or where the bad guys are doing the job. So I can't remember what it's called. Either way, that's basically kind of like what this is. Let's go heading over to our spreadsheet. I am going to say that I'm probably still more interested in running Crystal Hearts, so I am going to put Starbreaker here. Starbreaker is super cool. The art is really well done. If you can, there is an offset print run of this book. This is my POD print on demand copy, but there's an offset print run, so if you want to check that out, you can. I figure out where I put all these books. All right. Next up, this is a really small one that came out, I believe, last year. Maybe 2 years ago. I think I interviewed them 2 years ago. No, last year. I interviewed them last year. So that's kind of within the past year. And that is, let me go ahead and move. This is the Royal Society of Mythology. Real quick, let me know if this is no, not League of Shadows, John. There was a whole movie for it. But this is the, let me know, by the way, if this is mirrored correctly. If this is not mirrored correctly, I will adjust. But I can't tell if it's just me or if it's what's being shown to you guys as well. This is Royal Society of Mythology. You play as a organization who is looking for these supernatural creatures or cryptids and such, and you're competing against other organizations to try to find these. It is a fairly short book. It's only about 50 or so pages, and you're playing as this Royal Society who is going on expeditions to recover these creatures, whether it be flora, fauna, different kinds of things. And it also includes several myth hunt adventures. There's no like full campaign. This is definitely a mini setting for Savage Worlds. Takes place in kind of like the real world ish. And I think it's really interesting. However, I will say that I think that this, for me, serves better as inspiration for things like Rippers, or some sort of like something like that, where you're playing as these Suicide Squad. Yeah, that's the one, John Dibs. Thanks. So where you're playing as, see, this is my ADHD at work, so I lost my train of thought. So I think there's a lot of other games where you're doing like monster hunts, and I think that this might be kind of serves, for me personally, more of a supplement to those games of like ideas. I don't know if I'm probably going to run this exact thing, but I do think that this is a cool little supplement that you can add with more creatures, more stat blocks, more adventures that you can kind of run. So there you go. I'm going to put that in my list here. I'm going to put it right under here. So this is Royal Society of Mythology. Why is that smaller? I want everything. There we go. I think there's 6 points. There we go. All right. So at some point we'll get into a few other things here. This next one, this one's called Stingers and Spores. This is, I'm going to move this here. In this setting, you are playing as bugs. You're playing as bugs from different species. You can play as bugs that are vastly different sizes. Like you can play as, respectively, if you're looking at like normal sizing scales, you can play someone that is tiny, like a fairy, or you can play as someone as big as it's like a giant. Like I think that like the sizes for the races of bugs you can play in here are drastically different, and even different kinds of bugs are here. So for instance, I turned here to the moth page. So here's the moth race you can play as, and then here's all the different variants of moth that you can play as. There is so many different races that you can play in here. I don't know why, but there is a character sheet in this book for D&D of all things. Not sure what that's about. But yeah, so Stingers and Spores. You play as these different races. I know my brother-in-law read through this book a few times. He's kind of super excited. Think games like Bug Fables or games like Hollow Knight. That's kind of like a little bit of the inspiration for this game. There is mythology that these ants or these bugs have. Here's a little example actually of the different sizes. You can play as this little tiny guy, or you play as this really big guy. And you can have them in the same party. And that's kind of crazy. So that's size -4 to size 4 for this difference, the how vast of difference you can play. But yeah, so this is a really cool little setting, really interesting setting. Definitely interested in playing this at some point. I don't know if I want to run it personally, but I think I would love to play as a bug in a setting. So as far as for this one, I'm going to put this right here. I'll put this right here. So this is stingers and spores. That right here at number 3. I think I'm trying to decide. What do I want to play more? Stingers and spores or Starbreaker? I think I don't know. I think this is where I'm at. So we'll see. Stingers and spores. Very cool. Gonna take a side. So take a look at that. By the way, if you're interested in any of these, if you use any of my DriveThruRPG links down below and then purchase anything through those links, I do get commission from it. That'd be very helpful for me, just to help buy more of these books so I can show them off and talk about them. But I do appreciate any support that you guys do provide. This next one here, this is not necessarily technically a setting. It is a way of playing. It is a toolkit for a specific style of play within Savage Worlds, and that is Gold and Glory 7 Deadly Dungeons. So Gold and Glory is trying to make you feel like you're playing an OSR game like Cairn or Knave or Dungeon Crawl Classics, games like that, but in Savage Worlds. And they're doing that by using certain setting rules, by helping you to randomize your character abilities. It's giving you certain rules for how to do inventory and stuff like that. And so that's what this is. I am working on a video talking about how to play OSR. I have several videos recorded that I just haven't had time to get to edit. So hopefully we can get something out soon. But one of those videos is about playing OSR games, and this book is going to be heavily featured in that video. So this is something that I think I would like to try once for maybe like a 4-hour one shot. I don't know if I want to necessarily play a whole entire campaign through this. I think I'm more interested in just using like Shadowdark or Cairn for a one shot, but I did want to go ahead and mention it, and we'll put it here on the list. So where are we gonna put it? I think I am gonna still put it right here. So we're gonna put it in Gold and Glory. There is a lot of supplements for this book, just for this I'll say series of books, including one about doing this solo and a bunch of other adventures, like OSR type style adventures. So definitely recommend checking that out if you're interested in OSR style of play and how to do that with Savage Worlds. And I'm realizing as we're going through this stuff, I'm realizing and seeing what time it is. I'm like, oh man, we're gonna be here for a bit. So I might have to start showing these a little bit. I don't know if I've opened this one before. This next one here, this is, let's go ahead and move this again. This is Contagion. This is a setting about, well, I'll just kind of read it here. The world of Contagion is a dark and terrifying place. On the surface, it's no different than the world you live in. So it takes place in our world. Most people go on about their lives, never realizing the terrors walk among them. But there is angels, there's demons, there's gods, there's hellspawn that make wars in the shadows. So again, more kind of like, you know, thinking about like kind of like a urban fantasy in a sense. Like there is monsters in the shadows. There's real stuff in the world. There's clergy and there's slayers that rise, and there's magi and there's witches and all that kind of stuff. So wars in the shadows. You got to choose a side. So that's this book here. This is from Aegis Studios. They're also working on the Scarred Lands for Savage Worlds book, which I also backed and be looking forward to getting at some point. Which is funny because I actually have the Scarred Lands for 5e book as well. So I'm not going to get it in Savage Worlds as well. This book is about 100 and so pages for information on like what you need to run it, what you need to like different hindrances, different abilities, understanding like different setting rules, that kind of stuff. If this world sounds interesting to you, again, check that out. Now, where do I put it? I think originally at one point it was a little bit higher on my list of what things I wanted to play. I think right now though it's probably about here. Again, at one point it seemed like super interesting, and I don't know what's kind of happened since then. But right now I'm just kind of like, I think I just have a lot more other things I really want to play right now, and that's kind of where I'm at with this one. I think it would be fun to play this eventually, but it's just a question of like when will I kind of get around to it when I have a lot of other things that I'm a little more interested in playing it right now. And something that you should know, like if I got a physical version of it, at some point I was very excited to play it, and I do see some potential in it. I don't really have a reason to get a adventure or physical copy of a book that I'm not interested in. If I want to spend my money to get a physical book, it's because I have an interest in playing it at some point. Let's see here. Let's grab this one. Let's look at an actual Pinnacle product in here. This is Holler. This is the special edition cover they did for the Kickstarter. So I do have a copy of it, of the normal cover as well, because they sent 2 out if you backed this level. So you got the special art cover, and which is, by the way, super nice. And the original cover. Holler, I think I realized I should probably share my screen. Here's where we're at right now. There you go. Holler is an Appalachian horror game where you're pulled into a kind of like a mini little pocket dimension called the Holler. There's a corporation that is kind of enslaving people to force them to work in the factories and such. And you're playing as rebels who are trying to kind of just like get out, trying to survive. You do fight monsters like zombies. There are fae. There is the corporation itself. You can play as a witch. You can play as a clergyman. There are horses, that kind of thing. So just kind of think like you're kind of like your Appalachian horror type stories, and that's the type of, or Appalachia. That's kind of things that are going on. So you can see here's the factory that's running in the Holler, and here's the people who are about to take it out or something. Holler is definitely up there on my list of things that I really do want to play. I kind of forgot about it for a little bit, just because there's been so many other things. But I do really, really want to play this. John Doom says, please note the special cover is not made of human leather. Please, I repeat, not made of human leather. Okay. I didn't think it was, but okay. But it's very, very, very nice. If I misspoke, my apologies. It's made of nice leather, not human leather. If I said human leather, I apologize. That's the Evil Dead coming out from me. All right, so that's Holler. Where do I rank the Holler as a game I want to play? Undo. I'm not sure what happened there. Honestly, it's pretty far up there. I think I'm gonna put it right below Crystal Heart for now. So I'm gonna put Holler right here. It's up there. I am very, very keen to play this. I don't think I want to play this like a really long campaign in this, but just like play the plot point campaign that's in here, and that's about it. But I am very keen to play this, and I would like to very much. Okay, let's see. What do we want to grab next? Let's grab for this book here. This one here is a game I have played, and that is Vermilion. I've done a video about this campaign setting. I love this setting. I love the artwork. You play in a world where foreigners from not Europe come over to not America, and they kind of invade, they kind of colonize, and the world kind of changes from there's elves, there's halflings, there's vampire dwarves in the frosty mountains to the north. There are werewolves. There are different, just kind of different things can happen. There are clockwork creatures, and there is a history under this world that nobody really knows much about. Because, like the clockwork, where do they come from? Where do the buildings, like you see here in this picture here, you see like these like big buildings. They almost make you think of like office buildings, and they're covered in they're now ruins, and they're covered in vines. And this is the world that you are playing in, and kind of and fighting in. It is definitely one of my favorites. I really enjoyed the short campaign we played of it, and I am going to put this on the list, even though I played it already, because I want to play it again. I really do. I'm really looking forward. We're waiting for a Kickstarter from White Witch Games for their next adventure called. Right now, the current title I'm aware of is Outlaw Girls and Cannibal Elves. I would really look forward to giving that a try at some point. But this is a setting I really, really enjoy, and I want to play it again. Where do I rank that? Well, I've already played it. Even though I've already played it once, where do I rank? I think I want to play it more than Holler. I want to play this again more than Holler, I think. I love Vermilion. It's so good. I love it. I love it. Love it. Like, love it. And yes, Paul, there are vampire dwarves. I should mention that there's technically vampire everything. Vampirism essentially is a disease that you can get that gives you magic powers, and it acts as an arcane background. So anyone can be, but there was particularly a clan of like vampire dwarves in the setting, so things you should know about. Love this book. Love this setting. I love it so much. The art's just so good too. Okay. Let's go for this one right here. All right. This is the Secret World. And again, let's go ahead and get rid of this here. This is the Secret World. This is coming from Starville Studios, the people who brought you Starbreaker. The Secret World, if you don't know, is actually an MMORPG. And Brandon took that game and he adapted it for Savage Worlds. And he does it in different ways. But the world is our world, and kind of like royal mythology, kind of like Contagion. There is a kind of a war going on in the shadows. There are creatures, there are monsters. You're playing as someone called a bee, and you play for one of 4 factions. And the bees serve Gaia, and Gaia's basically trying to you serve Gaia and your faction, and you're trying to use your special abilities to kind of help with everything going on in the world, trying to take on monsters, trying to save monsters, all different kinds of things, trying to get power. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot of magic. There's different cults, not cults. Well, some of them might be cults. Different groups like the Illuminati, the Templars, the Dragon group. Your factions give you certain abilities, and you kind of serve those factions. And yeah, so there's a lot of like really cool like things with this. I think the idea is really cool. And I think this is going to serve me more probably for inspiration for other games that I might want to do myself. Like Royal Society mythology, like Rippers, something along the lines of like some sort of Monster Hunter type deal. I might play it as is at some point, but I'll admit it's not super high on my list. So let's go ahead and go to my list. I think I'm gonna put I'm gonna put the Secret World maybe right above Contagion. I'm gonna put it right here. Yeah. All right. So we're gonna put this. That's where we're gonna put Secret World for now. Cool thing. If you played the RPG, if you played the MMORPG, you'll probably be interested in this. I did not. I tried it a little bit in preparation for my interview with Brandon to talk about it, but it's not something that super intrigues me, but it intrigues me enough for me to actually get a physical copy. So. Alrighty, let's go for a big one here. This is a bigger book as far as not being the typical size of Savage books. This is a bit bigger size, like an 8 by 11. This is Beacon Island. This is from Pear Tree Studios. If you know Pear Tree Studios, that's Peter Saloom. He's been on the show a couple times. He's talked about Savage World stuff. He's got several adventures he's created, and this is his first Kickstarter campaign for a. Well, it may seem small. There's a lot in here. For a 90s kids on bike game. You play as these kids, these like preteens, maybe teenagers. I think it's mostly preteens, though, if I remember correctly, who are on this island. They're having a good like summer vacation. You're on this like remote New England island, and you are trying to investigate, strange phenomena, that kind of thing. Personally, I look at this. I think like games or movies like Super 8, like Iron Giant, maybe a little bit of Goonies, that kind of thing. And that's the story you're kind of getting in this. There is a campaign in here. There is some other adventures. It's a short campaign, and there's rules for how to make your characters and stuff. I think this probably pairs well with things like Pine Box Middle School and Sleuth Squad, which we'll talk about later. But this is a really cool little setting for Savage Worlds. How much do I want to play this? I don't think this will be a long campaign, so it actually increases my desire play because I feel like I can get it, sneak it in somewhere. Where do I want to play this? I want to put this right. I think I'm gonna put it right above Starbreaker here. I'm gonna put it here. Beacon Island. You might not know about me is I love kids on bike stuff. You might be surprised to know that I don't own I'm surprised myself I don't own Pine Box Middle School yet. It's something I'm like, hey, I really want to get this at some point. List. So you won't see Pine Box Middle School today, but I love some like movies like Super 8 and Iron Giant. I don't actually care for Goonies. I don't know why. I think it's just like not serious enough for me. But Super 8, Iron Giant, both are really movies I really, really enjoy. Stranger Things is a good example too. I enjoyed Stranger Things for what I saw of it, but I haven't watched all of it because I don't have Netflix. But yeah, so Beacon Island. That's Beacon Island. Sitting in now at number 4. All right, let's go for another one. I'm gonna grab this one here. This is Deadlands Lost Colony. This is Deadlands in space. I have not played this yet, and I would like to at some point. I feel like I will say that I feel like I don't have like a huge desire to play it right now because I don't know the Deadlands universe well enough to, I think, fully appreciate Deadlands Lost Colony. So I kind of want to play more Deadlands itself before I actually play Deadlands Lost Colony. And actually, the book right underneath it is Deadlands, so which I have not really played like a campaign in this yet. I played a few one shots in this. I've not played a campaign, so I do need to play Deadlands, and Deadlands is something on our like to play soon list. I think it's going to be after our next campaign, or maybe the next one after that one. We'll see. That's Deadlands. So I'm going to do Deadlands first, and then I'm going to do Deadlands Lost Colony after that. Where is Deadlands? I think Deadlands is actually pish posh. You don't need to know the universe from something. You probably don't. You don't need to, but I feel like there's probably just I would like to. I think Deadlands itself is actually about here. So I'm gonna put Deadlands right about here, and I think I'm gonna put Deadlands Lost Colony somewhere around here, somewhere around Starbreaker. I'm gonna put it right above Starbreaker. I'm gonna put Deadlands Lost Colony right about here. Pish posh, you don't need to know. Say here. Sorry to make sure this is loud. Pish posh, you don't need to know about the universe to run something. I don't need to, but I would like to. I play Rifts, but I don't know all about it. Yeah, I don't know. I know very little about Rifts as well. All right, I'm actually gonna make this font slightly smaller, just so we can see a little bit more here. That's 24. That seems like it still should be readable. All right, so that's Deadlands and Deadlands Lost Colony. Those two. I'm not going to explain those settings. If you don't know what those settings are, spend some time in the Savage Worlds community, I guess. All right, let's do this one next. This one is Street Wolves. I have been, ever since this was kind of like I first saw this, I have been on this like 90s vibe binge, getting like 90s and like 80s, I should say, binge, like getting this color scheme out of things, getting these cool logos and stuff, playing retro video games, listening to like synthwave and retrowave music. I listened to this channel called Wired Tales. They just have like these like it's like synthwave music and like these like just like reeking 90s and 80s vibes. Okay, that's enough about that. What is this about? Well, it does take place in the late 80s, and I think like 89 specifically, and you are a member of a group called the Street Wolves. You are basically this like rebel group who is trying to stop corporations and stuff. And the way I'm calling this is like retro punk or like proto cyberpunk, because there is a lot of technology stuff that's happening. You have some like access to technology that didn't actually occur, but kind of like a retro futuristic version of that technology. So there is going into cyberspace or net running, but you're using these like framework like wireframe characters instead of actual like full fleshed out characters to look really cool. So it feels very cyberpunk-y because you're going against corporations and stuff, but it's not cyberpunk because it's still taking place in like the 80s. It's using old technology, so I like to call it like I'm calling it like either retro punk or neon. John Doom says neon synth punk. Yeah, I don't know how to quite describe this because it's definitely punk because you are rebelling against the corporations that are like doing stuff. Oh, and there's this mist that is in several of the big towns that can make you sick, can give you superpowers, and makes neon lights look really cool. So like fog machines, but it makes neon lights look really cool. So kind of wish that was real. except for the disease part. Ooh, got a little postcard in here. I'm super excited about this. This one is definitely up on my list, really high. So let's go ahead and take a look at this list real quick. It's definitely on the top 2 here. I think it's definitely above Vermilion because I played Vermilion at this point, so I don't really need to play it again. And I would like to play anything new. Is it above Crystal Heart? I'm super interested in Crystal Heart right now. Something up here though. Okay, if I had to choose between Crystal Heart and Street Wolves, I had to play one. Which would I play? I think I'm going Street Wolves. I think I like Street Wolves. I think that's how excited I am about it. I'm gonna put Street Wolves up here. Street Wolves it is. One of the cool things about this setting is you also like can choose like a music track for your character, and like that's like their song essentially. There's also some stuff for like relationships and stuff. If you want to hear more about this, I did do a full video review of it based on my reading of the book. So take a look at that, and yeah, take a look at Street Wolves. It's super cool. I'm really glad I got the hardback stitched version from the offset print run, and this was a book that you could get through Studio 2 Publishing at Gen Con. So yeah. All right. Let's do a big book since I haven't done any big books in a while. This first one here is here we go. I'm gonna pull it out of its slipcase. This is the Savage World of Solomon Kane. This is the updated version for Suede. This was originally basically done by Pinnacle, and then Pinnacle didn't have the license anymore for Solomon Kane. That was picked up by Monolith Games. They did a Kickstarter to bring this updated version of the same work that Pinnacle did to Savage Worlds. The interesting thing about this book is that this is the complete rules for Savage Worlds. You do not need the core Savage Worlds rulebook to play this. You don't need the core rules. You don't need any of the companions. The only book you need is this book to play this. It has all the core rules in here, just like the original one did. They gave Monolith Games got permission from Pinnacle to do so. If you actually look at, I believe the credits still have Shane as one of the writers. Yeah, written by Paul Wiggy Wade Williams with Shane Lacey Hensley. So this is something they, and Jody Black is in here as an editor. So lots of really cool stuff here. Really cool art as well, like really good art. It is a heavy book. It's a thick book. This is going to be, if we might take we might do a small campaign after we're done with our Rise of the Rune Lords campaign, which is so close to being done. I really want to speed it up because I'm ready to be done with it. I want to play something new. We might do a little mini thing from August to October, and then we're going to do this. So I actually have and I'm actually not running it. Someone else is running it because they know Solomon Kane way better than I do. But where am I looking forward to playing this? Well, I'll grant you I'm a little bit biased because we are going to be playing it. I'm going to put it. I think this kind of says right now what I'm saying. Savage World of Solomon Kane. That's where I'm playing it. That's where Hawk's I'm play this. And Solomon Kane's a cool character. Robert E. Howard's character. Him and Conan the Barbarian. It is just a really cool. It's a cool thing. And I also got all the minis for this as well. So I got the big mini vault, and it's like a big box of minis that's for this as well. So I got all the stuff for this. So pretty excited for that. I might have to clean up so much when I'm done. Let's grab this one. This one is an interesting one because you kind of need more stuff to play than just this and the Savage Worlds core rules. But let's go ahead and talk about it. And that is Eberron for Savage Worlds. This is Christian Serrano who did this. This is a conversion guide on how to basically play Eberron in Savage Worlds. It is using the Ace licensing product from Pinnacle for Savage Worlds, but it is using the fan product from fan license from Wizards of the Coast. It's an unofficial fan content permitted under the fan content policy. So it's not endorsed by anybody, although, well, it's not endorsed by anybody, or by Wizards of the Coast, I should say. There is, I believe, a foreword by Keith Baker, who is the guy who invented Eberron as a setting. If you want lore and stuff, this is not going to be in here. What you're going to find here is how to do things like the different races. You're going to find things on how to do dragon shards, how to do different arcane devices, how to do certain things that are specifically a Eberron thing. Not things that are D&D things, but things that are Eberron things, and how to do them inside Savage Worlds. But you're not going to find lore. So if you need lore, if you don't know the world very well, you're going to need another book to do that. Grab like the Rising from the Last Lore, Rising from the Last War, which is the D&D 5e book. There is also a book that Christian recommended that's like a little, it's like just a lore book. It's like a coffee table book. It's just lore. It's nothing really else in it. I don't remember what book it was, but this is available. You can get a hardback copy per on demand through Christian. So Christian, you can just email him and get one on through his site on the immaterial plane. So check that out. Where am I putting this on when I want to play it? Like how I want to play this. I think it's really cool. I think Eberron's a really cool setting. But right now I'm not super excited to play it just because I have so many other things to play, and it's just I've played Eberron in Savage and D&D. It doesn't have like a campaign or anything. So I'm gonna be putting it down a little bit. I think I'm gonna put it right about here. Eberron for Savage Worlds. I definitely want to play it, but I think that's about where I want it right now. Like how much excited I am to play it. All right, we are almost at the hour mark. Gotta get through these a little bit quicker. Here we go. Next one, Hellbind. This is a sci-fi setting for Savage Worlds. It is a short little book. It's about 100 pages. I don't think there's any campaign in here or somewhere. Double checking. I'd be wrong. And I'll be straight. I am not super interested in playing this setting. However, I do think that there is some really cool design concepts in this game. One is that there is no races in this book. There's no race abilities in this book because they said, hey, just go use the race creation guidelines from the Savage Worlds books and make up your race. So use the sci-fi companion, use the core rules, go make up your race because this is a world of aliens. Who knows what kind of aliens you are? There's so many different kinds of aliens. You make up your alien race. That's really cool. I also really like how they did a few of their stat blocks for monsters or so you also hear as like let's just give an example. Yeah, let's do this. So this is like one of the factions that you can fight against, and I think they do like how they run factions in this game is really cool. I think there's a really good design element here. And here, what they did is they have instead of having two different kinds of marauders, you have a brute and a pirate, so having two different stat blocks, they combined the stat block and said, okay, they're basically the same thing, except for the blue ones is what the pirates have, so D8 instead of D6, and the brutes have the red. That's the only difference is where things change. It's like, hey, red's this, blue's this, but otherwise everything's the same. And that keeps the stat block really easy. But additionally, one of the things that we can maybe see in games is that games like this, okay, you keep using marauders and brutes all the time, but are they actually getting any better? Not like they're not getting stronger or anything. So, you're just going to eventually be able to stick them out so easily. Well, they have this little area here where throughout the campaign, as the different factions do different things, they are going to get advancements of their own, things that they're going to make their guys stronger. They start getting personal cloaking. Cool. Now this is saying that now all the marauders have cloaks. Now there's a plasma edges. There's let's see, what was the other thing? So the other two. I'm pretty sure there's more here, but big. They get a big haul. They get. So there's different things that you can get. You can, as a GM, can give the factions oh, hey, they accomplished this. This faction accomplished a goal. We're going to give them one of these abilities that matches that goal, and that's super cool. So, I would say the setting itself, I'm for whatever reason not super interested, but the design of this game and what they're doing inside the setting, I think is super neat and interesting, and I think it's actually really worthwhile to check out as a game designer to, particularly for a Savage Worlds game designer, to see about how things that they're doing here that you could bring into your own game, like having different factions that can kind of upgrade along the way. So super cool. Where do I want to put that on this list? We're going to put that. I think we're gonna put it about here. It would probably be a short campaign. I don't think it would be very long if I did play this. Put it about there. So yeah, there we go. All right, real quick, let's take a break to read some comments here. Looking at people who are interested in certain things. John Doom says he's curious about wants to play ETU, play Lost Colony, play Holler. ETU, Han Cluster, and Holler. Yep. John Doom very much recommends that. I've heard so many good things about it. He's looking for this guy. Arcane is looking forward to Rift, Starbreaker, and Titan Effect. Ooh, there we go. Let's see here. Here's some other comments here to make sure everything else I want to check out, miss. Serious Sport sounds fun, but I think I'd prefer it as a 1 or 2 session game rather than a full campaign. Yeah, that's some of these are definitely feel like that to me. Like they'd be like a short campaign, like a yeah. I only run 2-hour sessions, so once a week. So I probably like a month long, maybe 2 month long campaign, not something that's going to take years like my current Resident Lord campaign. Yeah, John Doom says he wants to try Series and Sports as a one shot. Kender Mage says he wants to run Spore Runners, which is like a cyberpunk version of the setting that does exist over on DriveThruRPG. Take a look at that. Yeah, there's so many good things in Savage Worlds universe. And not to mention the ones that are for previous versions. Is there anything that have a running total? There is a fan page that was being kept up. I don't know if it still is, of different Savage World settings. I'll have to find that at some point. So I'm gonna find it. You guys, oh yeah, here. Johnny said there's a big wiki list. I think it stopped getting updated. Yeah, I think so too. Unfortunately, so we have to steal that list and republish it somewhere. Let's see here. Paul says he is interested in doing some more mini settings that are in the GM screen pack, like Tesla Rangers. I did do Tesla Rangers actually. More pulpy, definitely a little more goofy, but it definitely has that like Deadlands sort of feel, but more robots and stuff. So definitely good. Oh, John Doom says 50 Fathoms is on his list as well. Yeah, lots of cool comments here, lots of good stuff. You guys saw my Kickstarter? Awesome. Yeah, definitely do that. Hey, John, if you want to play Hellbind, do it. Do it for sure. I want to get a hard copy of Subject Abraham. They don't ship to overseas. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Yeah, if you get Paul some of that, you have them out. Swain says, if I can ask you, Pathfinder GMs or players, how do you square the circle of squishiness? How do you square the circle of squishiness, whereas Pathfinder players have the cushion of HP keeping them afloat? My players are not squishy. I'll say that right now. They are. I have to do a lot of work to even hit them or do damage to them, like shake them and stuff. So it really depends on your players and depends on how they build their characters. But at least mine, not a problem. Not a problem at all. But if you want to ask about that question, head over to the Discord server and you have that conversation over there. Ransom says, for me, it was amazing, but Holler keeps calling to me for some reason. I just have to pause Deadlands for a while to fit them in. I'm hoping to get Hell on Earth updated. Yeah, I think Hell on Earth was something that my brother-in-law's definitely been waiting for as well, for sure. All right, let's go ahead and jump back in. Let's get a few more things under our belt here. This one's been said a lot about. Han Cluster. This is from Tracy Sizemore. This is a optimistic sci-fi RPG where I guess things go well in the universe. I know that we've talked about this before. Like, what does it mean to be a optimistic sci-fi? But I can't recall our definitions from previous. People love this. People love this game. The only thing, I'll be honest, the only thing keeping me going though for this game is how much people are recommending it. John Dibs, recommending in the chat. I've been seeing thing over thing about how great this game is. It's coming from a designer who worked for Pinnacle. This is being published. This looks like for all intents and purposes, this might as well be a Pinnacle book because it's gone through the same publisher, same writers, same people, just not through Pinnacle itself. This Shane Hensley has some stuff in here, You see Tracy wrote it. Daryl Hayhurst did some material. Jody did some of the editing. Carl Kiesler did some of the graphic design. A whole bunch of people that you would know from Pinnacle worked on this book, and it's being published by printed and published by the same, printed by the same people who printed all of Pinnacle stuff. This might as well be a Pinnacle product. Where's this land though? It's a sci-fi game. You can do these different cool things. I don't go look at my video, my interview about it, because I can't super well explain it simply and quickly. Sci-fi game, optimistic, cool little demon guy in the clouds there. Where does it rank though? Again, part of the reason why it's ranking so high is because I heard a lot of hype about it. It's set to be really good. Where do I want to put it? I think I'm putting it right about here. Right here. Again, I don't. If I just had read this, I probably wouldn't be super interested in myself. And as I've read through this book, I'm like, okay, this is cool, but I'm not sure how interested I am. But I've heard that their writing is just really good for playing, and that's the kind of like where I need to be at, right? So there is a I have it back here, a plot point campaign that's back there amongst my plot point campaigns for this, and there's gonna be another one coming out soon, but that's kind of where I'm at currently. So that is Han Cluster role playing game. All right. Let's see here. Jumping over. Let's do this one. I do want to say thank you to the person who sent me this next book. Move this out of here. This is by Alan Rowe, and this is the Secret Files of Section D. I was just getting started out in making Savage content, and Alan said, "Hey, would you do a review of this book?" Sent to me for free. Read through it, did my review. You can take a look at that video, and just super thankful for giving me the opportunity and to kind of like start doing that stuff. I'm gonna be straight though. I am not super interested in playing this. This is a like World War II era, like funny things are happening. Weird, you get UFOs, you got liches, mummies, and that kind of stuff. Weird stuff's happening. It's very pulpy, very, very, very pulpy. Like Savage Worlds is already pulpy. This leans into it heavily, and some, as he says in here, sometimes tongue-in-cheek stuff. I think this is luckily a lot of fun to play. I think it would be really fun to play with a few of actually some of John Doom's adventures. I think it would be actually fun to run with Section D. But I just don't think this is for me. The book is really well done. It's a nice big book, has a ribbon. Just not really, I think, the thing I'm personally interested in running. So for that reason, I'm going to run this down here. I'm going to say probably around. So right, honestly, it's probably just about right here. So I'm going to do Secret Files of Section D. So that's where it is for me. I think it's a nice book. I think it's got really well done. It's just not the kind of thing I think I'm personally looking for. So yeah. Let's see here. Paul, you said, what is Interface Zero about? Interface Zero is basically Savage Worlds' version of like cyberpunk. It is a cyberpunk setting. That's all I can really tell you about it. That's the main thing I tell you. Yeah, it's really the only thing I tell you about it. I don't have any copies of that. Let's see here. Let's just go over here. Again, another great shout out to some people who were helping me when I first getting started and trusting me to make content and stuff. This is Battle Lords for the 23rd century for Savage Worlds. This is again a nice big book. This is, I think, the crunchiest setting for Savage Worlds there is. Your races themselves are like seasoned characters. There's so many edges and hindrances that they get just for being whatever race they are, on top of having mech suits and armor and all this other stuff. You play as battle lords. You serve corporations. You have contracts that extend you beyond life. If you die, the company just brings you back to life, but they take that out of your pay, and you got to do work that they tell you to do. It is a lot. This is just one book they sent me. I have 2 more books up there that go along with this game as well. And there's actually a fourth one as well for this setting. It is intense. I think this might be crunchier than Rifts is. So if you want a really crunchy Savage Worlds game, this is the game to check out. I am super. This has got me curious about it because it is super crunchy, but I don't tend to go for like super crunchy games. And yet, I think if I did play one, this is the one I would want to watch. Where does it go? I don't think it's going to go way up here this far. I think it's right about. Oh boy. Okay, where do I put this? I think it's honestly right about here. Yeah. I think this is my heart is leading me here. So I'm gonna put Battle Lords of the 23rd century. Yep. Right there. So that's where I'm at. I think it's right about there. It's a really cool setting. It is really crunchy. Lots of stuff going on. It definitely it's actually based on another. There's a full RPG for Battle Lords that is not just this one. Sorry, not just the Savage Worlds version. And it is also comes from the 90s, so it comes from like that era of gaming where things tended to be fairly crunchy and you had to like know a lot of different rules. So yeah. John Dune says so there's a conversation in the chat about Airface Zero and Cyberpunk stuff. Dollar for dollar, yeah, definitely pick up Sprawl Runners. It was not on the DriveThruRPG for a while, but it is now. So yeah, go pick it up. It I wish I could get it in print still, but it is definitely like everyone considers it the best Cyberpunk book to get if you want to play any sort of Cyberpunk. It's not a certain setting or anything, but it gives you the rules that you need to know to play your version of Cyberpunk. So definitely check that out. All right, we're almost done. We've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books left. All right, this is real quick. I'm not gonna spend much time on this one. Such Pathfinder. I could go a while without playing this. That'd be okay. I've been playing through Rise of the Rune Lords right now. We're about to finish it up. I am not necessarily looking forward to playing this for a bit, just because I have so many other things I want to play. I'm good for a bit. I'm good for a while. So, although my brother-in-law wants to run Prince of the Apocalypse in this, and someone in the community of my community in the comments has been talking about running Savage Pathfinder or using Savage Worlds to run Prince of the Apocalypse. I'd be more interested in running it not Savage Pathfinder personally, but if I get to be a player, that's on him for him to decide. That being said, that's not where I want it. I think I'll put it right about here. I could not play Savage Pathfinder for a bit and be okay. This list is also subjective to my current feelings because I am running this and I'm ready to be done. So, yeah, grain of salt there. All right, this one here is the first Savage World setting I ever ran, ever. This was back in Deluxe Edition, and I picked this up to play a sci-fi game after finishing my Prince of the Apocalypse game. Finished my Prince of the Apocalypse game, picked up Savage Worlds Deluxe Explorers Edition, and picked up this setting, that is the Last Parsec. It's a very small setting, nothing too much going on here. It is just a sci-fi setting. You work for a company. I can't remember the name of the company itself, what the company's called because it's been so long. But you work for a company, and you do the missions they tell you to, or you do a little bit of freelancing and stuff like that. It's fun. I like to see an updated version for Savage Worlds Adventure Edition, because again, as for Deluxe Explorers Edition. Part of it's definitely nostalgia for playing this again because I had some of the best players I ever had. I ran the Plot Point campaign. This was the first campaign I ever did a Plot Point campaign for, and the Plot Point campaign just went so smoothly, at least with the players I had, that made me go, oh, I really like this. So that's what this is. The Last Parsec. Where does it go? I think it goes. Am I set to play it again? I think right about here, right around the same place as Hellbine. You might have seen that a lot of my sci-fi setting games aren't super high. It's usually my like off fantasy games that are more high. So put that down here. All right, we got 4 left. This next one is Sidewinder Recoiled for Savage Worlds. This is a Western game. There's two different. You can either play during the early Western days, where like Lewis and Clark days, where you're out exploring the West, or when the West is more established. But this is just straight up normal Western gameplay. There's no magic. There's nothing like Deadlands. It's just if you want to play a spaghetti Western, like for the movies or whatever, this is what you're going to want to do. This is just straight up just playing Western games. So super cool. It's a very large book. It has a lot of historical background stuff. It has not class edges, but something like sort of like very similar to class edges, like backgrounds. I think is what they're called. Is that they're called? They're called backgrounds. They're like classes, but they're not quite classes. I don't remember what they're called. Renowned edges, what they're called. Sorry, renowned edges. So it is super cool. I would like to try this out very much so. I don't know where I would want to put it though. Where do I put this in the list? I'm feeling up here. I think it's around Deadlands. I think it'll be a little bit lower than these two. I think right about here. I'm gonna put Sidewinder. Sometimes you just want to have like a grounded setting that isn't full of magic and stuff, and you can just play a straight up game, right? So yeah. Sun Recoiled. That's what that is. All right, 3 more left. This was mentioned earlier. This one is partially because I like this kind of setting. It's also because this is, from what I've seen, it's been considered like the best plot point campaign out there ever. At least that's what I keep reading. And it feels like what people keep saying. And that's 50 Fathoms. I saw John Doom talk about it earlier. This is a pirate setting in a world where it is full of water and small islands. There's treasure. There is these your play as pirates and such. It's a pirate game. I like pirates. One of my favorite movies of all time is Pirates of the Caribbean. If I had to choose my 2 favorite movies, it's Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, and Super 8. Those are probably my 2 favorite movies of all time. So I like pirates, and I feel like every time I look at people talk about plot point campaigns and they talk about the best ones, this one's up there. This is one of the ones that people often like. This is the one that's definitely like the most repeated. People might not say it's the best one, but this is the most repeated one that I hear often, most consistently repeated one. So that's part of the reason why I'm super excited for it, because I'm like, oh man, this better be like, high praise, and I want it. So hopefully it also means there's gonna be a lot of really good adventuring from this. So where does that put it on my list? Well, honestly, it puts it fairly high. It puts it up to Deadlands. I really want to play pirates. Honestly, I think I want to play it more than I want to play. It's up here. I really like Vermilion. I think I'm gonna put it right here. 50 Fathoms. That is, it's up there, and I really want to run this. Really want to run this. All right, two more. All right, these last 2, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna put it up there early. This one's Dust Bunnies. You play as these little dust bunnies that play around on the floor, and you it's very friendly, very family friendly, very fun little game. Definitely meant for more, in my opinion, I think it's meant for more children, but as it says in the back, a game for heroes of all ages. So yeah, it's just a little fun game you play as dust bunnies, and there's no fighting, there's no violence, anything. How should I want to play this? I think it's super cool. I do want to play it. It's not the thing I'm like most excited about though. There's a lot of content for it, so that's super cool, but I'm not like super excited about it. I'm going to come down here. I'm gonna put this I think right about here. Dust Bunnies. I might play it eventually with my kids once they get to that point, or they can understand the concepts of like Savage Worlds stuff. But at the same time, I'm finding that like that's really easy to run Shadow Dark and like Cairn type games for them, and they just kind of get it. So, and while it's not as like family friendly in the fact that there's like violence and stuff, it's easy for them to understand the rules. So that's kind of a little bit of a difference there. All right, last one, last but definitely not least, is Sleuth Squad, mystery solving teens. And in this one, you play as teenagers like a la Scooby-Doo, and you have like a sleuthmobile, and you're going around solving mysteries, and you're going to kind of figure out what the mystery is. One thing about this that actually reminds me, right now my wife's playing through Brindlewood Bay, or she's going to start a game of Brindlewood Bay with her friends. She's played through one, and in that game, you don't have a set bad guy. Like, it's not predetermined who the bad guy is, and that's actually true in this one as well. As you explore and solve mysteries and get chased around by the monsters and stuff, your characters will come up with an explanation that makes sense, and you'll figure out that go from there. This is you have a little mascot character that you all choose together. You get a sleuthmobile that you choose together. You can have a band, a teen band that you're going around, learning new things with. It's a super cool book. And as you can see here, this is a adventure skill book. So it means that this is not like an ACE licensed person. This is not someone who's making their full-time job doing this. This is someone who, just for the community, who said, hey, I want to make a cool book about making characters who, making like Scooby-Doo style gameplay. That's what this is. This is not a setting book. This is a how do I run a Scooby-Doo style game with Savage Worlds, and that's what this book is. How do I run that? And it does a really good job of doing so. So check that out. Sleuth Squad has a lot of material, and just where do I want to rank it? That's the question. Where do I want to rank this? I feel like a lot of the ideas I would get from that is things I might want to use in a game. Like, I think I'd be more drawn to games that are still similar in mystery solving, but maybe a little more serious than Scooby-Doo. Like, I love Scooby-Doo. I watched a lot of Scooby-Doo. But if I'm honest, I'm one of those. I need to stop saying that phrase. I'm being honest. I am one of those Scooby-Doo fans that likes Mystery Incorporated. And I know that's like awful to some people, but I really liked Mystery Incorporated. I liked the overarching story. I think Mystery Incorporated is much more Beacon Island than it is like Sleuth Squad. And I would much rather play at this point right now, Beacon Island. But I think there is definitely a place for Sleuth Squad. So where do I rank it? Hey, this is where I want to play this. How badly do I want to play this? It's not. I mean, it's not. Again, gotta stop saying that. I'm not super excited by it. I think I was for a bit until like Beacon Island came out, and I'm like, okay, I don't have Beacon Island. I kind of not as concerned about this. I think I'm gonna put this right above Pathfinder. Yeah. Maybe. I'm gonna put it right below Squad. It's a cool thing, and if you want to play it, even if you get grab it, there's lots of stuff. Man, I keep misspelling Squad. There we go. All right. And with that is all of my books, and totaling 25 different setting books. Let me make sure I didn't miss any back here. But yeah, that is 25 setting books that I have physical copies of for Savage Worlds. Lots of them not even from Pinnacle. Lots of these are just other companies. Top 5 here: Street Wolves, Crystal Heart for Million 50 Fathoms, and Savage Worlds for 7 Kane. Again, takes a bias that this is the one that we are going to play, so I'm kind of so excited to play some games. But also up here we have Deadlands, Han Cluster, Holler, Beacon Island, and Sidewinder Recoiled. So there's a lot of good games out there. I hope you learned through this process about a bunch of games that you may not have known existed before. So take a look at those. Check out the DriveThruRPG links down below. Again, even if you don't want the products I'm looking down below, if you go through those links and then you'll find the product you do want, I still get a kickback from that, and it helps the channel so I can buy more books. That money is the kickback I get comes from DriveThruRPG, not from the creators. And so when I then use that money to then buy stuff from the creators, they get that money essentially from DriveThruRPG. So, spreading it out to other people. I hope you did learn a lot about other games here. Let me go look at this comments real quick before we end for the night. Let's see here. Rob, you're saying that you are on book 2 of Curse the Crimson Throne, and you're about done. Yeah, definitely has an itch for something new. John Doom's running Legend of Ghost Mountain currently. Deserves high praise to fix books, yeah, or Wusha, I think it's pronounced, if I told right. I don't really have enough information about Wusha to really have a strong opinion about it. Let's see here. John Doom getting Hearts to Brindlewood Bay. We've been watching a lot of my wife and I's current show is watching Murder, She Wrote together, and then just kind of giving her all the ideas that she needs so that she can run Brindlewood Bay with her friends. I'm not playing that game. It's just her and some other female RPGers that don't get to play a whole lot. So I'm hoping that they get to enjoy themselves and they get to play and enjoy this little cozy narrative-driven murder mystery game. And Mingle says that he needs to run into Flash Gordon. 50 Fathoms looks great, a little bit like Pirates of Darkwater. Maybe. I am playing a different pirate game on Monday, the first Monday of the month with some friends. It's definitely more. I think he's using the Shadow Dark rules, but he's being a little more hand wavy with them. Sean, if you're in the chat, hi. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody for jumping on. This has been a longer show. I probably should have expected that since there's a lot of books that are now piled up around me, and I've been able to put them back on my shelf. But thanks for hanging out and thanks for checking this out. I am working on a video. My current video I'm currently editing is about TriCube Tales, so look forward to that. And then after that, I think I'll have to work on that OSR style gameplay video featuring Golden Glory. I have one other one recorded, but I don't remember what it is. So I'll have to I batch record them now. I can't remember what it is. So we'll see. Look forward to talking to you all. Hopefully you guys can talk in the Discord channel about anything we discussed tonight.